FNAF has been in a real dumpster fire spiral. After the release of Security Breach, the game, and especially the story, fell, at least for me, into a deep, deep crevice. I'm sorry for the harsh words, but Steelwool really messed it up after they took over. Sure, there was this whole miscommunication with Scott thing, but that doesn't excuse the disaster that was, and still kind of is, Security Breach. The game was broken, the story was and probably still is, an unsolvable mess. They wrote themselves into a corner, and ever since have been trying to patch it with duct tape and retcons and the Mimic. Then came the Security Breach Ruin DLC. While definitely better than Security Breach, I mean, at this point, anything would be. But Ruin felt more like a slow crawl upward a rock bottom. It still felt unpolished, more like a rushed expansion to salvage what was left of Security Breach than a proper game. They scaled back everything, recycled how the assets, and yeah, smaller, tighter, better, but it also brought a ton of sci-fi concept that makes zero sense in FNAF lore. I'm sorry, but I'm a hardcore OG fan. I'm pre-fast Guerra, and all this high-tech mimic AI just feels wrong to me. Also, let's be honest, it still looked like a upscale PS2 game. Still, to be fair, still was slowly finding their footing again. Then Help Wanted 2 came out, the studio went back to its VR roots, and the game was alright. It felt a bit childish though, and I don't know about you, but I like my horror games scary. Help Wanted 2 was okay, I guess. It tied up a few lore threads, gave fans something to chew while still work quietly trying to extinguish the dumpster fire and get working on something real. And oh boy, did they finally deliver. When the Secret of the Mimic trailer dropped, it was instantly clear this game was going to be different. It was gritty again, it was dark, claustrophobic, and it felt like classic FNAF again. And for the first time in years, the fandom's hopes were climbing high. And now that the games are out, and I've sunk over 10 hours of my life into beating it, hours I'm never getting back, I can finally say, still actually cooked. After all the mess that Security Breach lore became, it's like Scott said, fuck it. It's like Scott said, fuck, go back. And that's exactly what Secret of the Mimic does. The game literally takes us back to 1979, literally the earliest point we have ever seen in a FNAF timeline. And it honestly feels like Scott wanted to leave Security Breach's disaster behind. At least for now. Focus on building something completely new, a prequel, where before Freddy's even exists, we play as Arnold, an actual fleshed out character, at least kind of fleshed out, a heavily overworked, Fazbear Entertainment employee with a voice, a personality, and most importantly, first FNAF character with common sense. He's genuinely like, holy shit! I don't wanna die over this stupid job. First time in the whole FNAF series. Arnold is fully voiced, not some blank slate or lore dump machine like Gregory. And our task, retrieve mimic schematics from Edwin's Merry Custom Manor, which is, by the way, an amazing location. The manor is dark, gritty, and realistic, a decaying semi-industrial facility that oozes atmosphere. It feels like a real place, not just some cartoon pizzaplex mess that it's designed beautifully, a scaled-down, tighter version of Security Breach's open layout, but without the bloat. You still unlock areas with your security device, just like Security Breach, but the game leans towards semi-linear missions instead of kind of open world. Each mission pushes you further out into the manor to get new clearance levels, all while threats like the titular mimic walk and stalk the facility. When you return to the hub, the areas you've unlocked stay open, meaning by the end of the game you can freely explore the full map. And honestly, that map, while smaller than Security Breach, feels 10 times more polished. Each section has its own vibe, secrets sprinkled everywhere, and feels handcrafted with love. It's quality over quantity. Finally. The game has two types of threats. One are scripted enemies, unique to each mission, and the second type, the Mimic, a global AI threat that stalks you throughout the game. The Mimic is essentially the scrapped Vanny AI concept from Security Breach, now fully realized. He doesn't appear immediately, but if you linger in one part of the building for too long, he spawns in by taking over one of the spare suits scattered around. And then he starts hunting you, responding to sound, environment interactions, movement, etc. And he's fast. If the mimic gets close, your chances of survival are slim. You can technically outrun him by cutting corners, but he's smart. If he gets line of sight, you're as good as done. He's a fair threat, though. Not frustrating, just dangerous. A huge improvement over Security's brain dead AI. The scripted threats, though, uh, they look amazing, but with great. The scripted threats, though, mm, they look amazing. Have great animation and care put into their design, don't get me wrong. But honestly, as long as you know how to hold W and shift, you're 90% safe. They're just not dangerous. Not really scary, too. Speaking of scary, is the game scary? Yes and no. The game is scary, at least on paper. It has genuinely creepy atmosphere, a terrifying main threat, and some seriously intense moments. Your average player definitely going to get scared. But me, I'm too far gone. I'm so desensitized that the last thing that genuinely scared me was the Joy of Creation demo. You know, the new one from Fazbear's Initiative or whatever it's called. Uh, so yeah, the Secret of the Mimic didn't really scare me. But it doesn't mean the game fails at being scary. Like I said, the average player will be scared no problem, as not only is the aforementioned atmosphere great, but you also get that stress horror experience, like Hello Neighbor kind of thing. You're afraid of getting chased, of losing progress, and getting caught. Not the fear from atmosphere itself. S- s- Not fear just from the atmosphere itself. Still, as a horror adventure game, it's brilliant, it's atmospheric, engaging, smart AI, incredible map design, keeps throwing new stuff at you. Still actually did it. But let's be real for a second. Steelwool's usual problems still here. Gameplay wise, the game still is a little bit unpolished and a little bit janky. Timing of events is sometimes broken. You can outrun scripted sequences and softlog yourself. Some parts are poorly explained, others are so rough you're not even sure if you're progressing correctly. These issues are way less frequent in Security Breach, and you might not even notice them. But the game overall feels like it was programmed well, but not designed perfectly. Like made by talented coders, but not quite true game devs with an eye for perfecting mechanisms. Still, those are small nitpicks. Still, those are small nitpicks. Secret of the Mimic is a great comeback for Steelwool and FNAF franchise. There's lore, there's atmosphere, and actual gameplay that works. It didn't scare me out of my seat, but it kept me playing, and more importantly, it made me care again for FNAF. If the current rate of improvement keeps up, I've got nothing but hope that FNAF might actually return to its greatness. And that's it from me. Let me know what you thought. Let me know what you thought of Secret of the Mimic down in the comments, and drop a like if you enjoyed, sub if you're new, and we will see you next time with more runs, more reviews, and probably way too much FNAF. This has been Sam Polish Guy. Thanks for watching, and dobranoc.